Taking the time now to be aware, and as you take the time to make yourself comfortable and peaceful, you notice your surroundings and what's around you. Taking a deep breath, and as you take that deep breath, perhaps you can feel your feet on the floor, and as you notice your feet on the floor, perhaps become aware of your back on the chair, and you feel calm and at peace with the world. There's a calmness and tranquility. And there are times that we have these patterns and we regurgitate the things that have happened in the past, and just be more aware. And it might be a conversation with a friend, it might be a conversation with a colleague, it might be a conversation with a family member, and just be more aware of what you're bringing back up again. And start with where you are. It might be difficult to make a big change. And starting with where you are, the smallest incremental change, a slight degree in variation can take you to a whole new destination. And as you become more aware of the way you feel and how that influences the way you behave and what you think, you separate the mesh and you take your mind to a place of creation, not regurgitation. And you're on the front foot. You respond and you don't react. And now you find yourself in this place of creation. And think of what you'd like to create in your life. Financially, relationships, professionally, personally. And there'll be a point of creation when you go back to regurgitation. And that might be, this will never happen for me, and this will happen for somebody else, and this always happens to someone else, and good things that happen to me, and the world is this, that, and the other. And stop yourself. A bit like putting a kayak or a canoe upstream. You can fight the tide, and it brings you back. And you find a path of least resistance. And you flow with the stream. And as you focus on your creation in this meditation, what you want to create might feel a long way away. You start with the smallest subtle change, whatever that change might be, and it might be just going to the feeling of what you want to feel, like a transmitter on the radio picking up a frequency for a song you want to listen to. So you're adjusting the dial on the radio, you're tuning in, you listen to one station, you turn to another station, in between you get some static, and you tune the tune you want to hear. And as you tune into that frequency that you want to hear, it's a little bit like when you think of someone and the phone rings, or they get in touch via email or they send you a text, you tune into that, like your awareness. When something comes into your awareness, and I want you to think about what you want less of, and take a moment to think about what you want more of. And I once knew someone who had a liability list and drew a negative and a positive and decided to put all the things they didn't want to experience anymore, whatever their experiences were, in the liability list. But equally, there were things they couldn't avoid. And the things they couldn't avoid was the mood and mindset of other people. So going through the course of a day and expecting everyone to be in the same place we are may be idealistic. But it's equally easy to get pushed from pillar to post, like the sailing boat, tacking in the wind, and you get dragged one way and the other way, and dragged the other way. And instead of being dragged one way, the other way, and whichever way, and fighting the stream, just go with the flow and the path of least resistance. And just start with how you want to feel, as being the smallest incremental change that can snowball. And as you catch yourself regurgitating, and if you come across people who want to offload their problems onto you, and you can listen if you want to, and you can also create a distance. And as you create the distance, just imagine an epiphany or someone or something protecting you and standing over you, and draw a circle around you, and nothing gets into that circle but you don't want to. You create a barrier, and whilst you're there for people and you can listen to what they've got to say, you can create that barrier and go to process. We're all on our own path, so your mindset is not affected by one thing, because you can switch the TV on and watch the news on one channel, and watch the news on another channel, and watch another channel, and get variable perspectives, and all can have an influence on how you feel. You choose how you feel, because you can go to a party and you can decide that you're going to be miserable at the party. You can decide to interact, or you can decide to do whatever you think is right for you to do. But if you're going to be there anyway, perhaps you may as well get the most out of it for yourself and for the people around you. And that could be observing people, but that could be just enjoying the music in the background, but that could be just maybe eating some food and interacting with people that you wouldn't normally interact with. Because we know people come into your life, and people come into your life and some will test you, some will challenge you, some will provide some lessons of one thing or the other, and there might be something or someone in your own life now that could be challenging, and there's a lesson to be learned, and you grow and you learn. And equally, you might find the opportunity to regurgitate old ground, because sometimes people who have a problem or a challenge will find someone who has a similar problem or challenge and talk about the experience and become healed at the wound. And that's not to say someone who has experienced what your experience can't help, but if they're experiencing it now, are they really a mentor? Because I know if you can't use a computer and you ask someone who can't use one either to help you, there's not a great deal they can do. And I know if you can't use a piece of equipment or do a process and you ask someone who's got no idea about doing it too, is the challenge that you're both stuck in that canoe But equally, you can find someone who's a canoe instructor who can guide you. Now, they can't do it for you, like the driving instructor can't drive the car for you. They can facilitate. And you go to a place of facilitation. And in that place of facilitation, perhaps you can find someone who's been in the same situation that you've been in before, who's saw the light at the end of the tunnel. And they can tell you how they got through it. Now, lived experience is one thing. One can't live someone else's experience. There's very real limitations. But we can learn. And you can find people, perhaps who've been through what you've been through and got through to the other side. So the person who, for example, maybe once couldn't use the computer, but now can use it really, really well. At one point in your life, there are many things you couldn't do. Walk and talk, and many things you possibly take for granted now and you do really, really well. And you learn through experience. And now I just want to focus on some of the patterns of regurgitation, the things that you've been carrying through and the things that don't serve you no more. And be just more self-aware of it. And park them to one side and go back to a place of creation. What you want to create. And that's not saying in creation you're going to not meet barriers. And the barriers might be just to re-navigate and recalibrate. And not to say that people aren't going to try and influence your mindset and mood. But you know you've got that protective barrier around you. And you're letting what you want to let in. And then pause for a moment and let you think about what you'd like to create and what you don't want to regurgitate. And you can decide what's right for you. And as I pause, take a moment to think about it and bring back any learnings in your own time, in your own pace you'd like to bring back.